Usu, peace, black power, and welcome to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. Harlem Liberation School is a black nationalist, Pan-African community organization based in Harlem. We provide relevant and credible political education to help black people wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. To do this, we provide panel discussions, political commentary, mini documentaries, leadership tips, classes, and interviews with some of our most dedicated and effective leaders, activists, and intellectuals around the world. Peace and black power families, Brother AGYEI from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach black people, as you know, to wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of our very important ancestor, Brother Malcolm X. Family, we got a really, really powerful broadcast interview lined up for you today. But as we wait for our brother Earl Majette to join us, I want to do a few quick announcements. Number one, it's very important, family, that we be able to assess where we are in our movement, that we be very honest and transparent about the areas where we need work, assess our blind spots, right? And so one of the things I've done over these years is really paid attention to the state of affairs of our grassroots, mostly nationalist and Pan-Africanist organizations. And I've come to the conclusion that we need to make some adjustments, family. If we say we want liberation, there's certain things we have to adjust. So a few quick announcements as we wait for our guests to join us here today at Harlem Liberation School. And the first thing, family, is that we are big on the consciousness. We know we got knowledge of self. God knows we waking up, we woke. But being conscious and knowing a lot about ancient Africa and knowing a lot about what different black leaders said and did is not enough. It's foundational, but it's not enough, because we want to get to the point where we're running society, where we're creating our own institutions that are independently funded, that are run and staffed by us. That means that we can't just have consciousness. We need to have skill set, capacity to do things. And consciousness does not necessarily equate to having specific skill sets that we need to run our own society. So that said, one of the things I want to show you this quick commercial, and I hope that people will take advantage of these monthly workshops that I'm doing that are kind of a grassroots organizing, community organizing workshops that are very important in my opinion. Brother TYEHIMBA. You know, in 2016, I co-founded an organization called Harlem Liberation School to teach political consciousness to black people. But political consciousness and knowing our history is just not enough. In the 21st century, we need to know the basics of community organizing and grassroots leadership, you know, how to create and maintain organizations and movements. So I decided to do a leadership community organizing workshop on a different topic each month in the year 2026. On February 26th of this year, from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm doing my second virtual workshop. And it's going to be on the topic of how to generate relevant community input, where we're going to learn the importance of getting feedback from the community, what type of information to look for, and different ways to get that information. The donation will be $20, and with that, you will get an ebook that summarizes the workshop content. Please scan the QR code on the screen to get more information and to register for the workshop. I hope to see you then. Peace. That's what's up, family. So those of you, and this is online, family. They're from 6:30 to 7:30. Each one of these monthly workshops I'm facilitating are on the last Thursdays of the month, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And with that 60-minute to 90-minute workshop, you'll also get an ebook that summarizes all of the content that we discuss. So you're leaving that online workshop with something physical that you can still refer to, right? So please try to go to that link. It's in the description section of the video to register for those workshops and share it with other people who might be interested. All right, now I do need to do some quick housekeeping. I believe, yes, give me 1 second, family. Bear with us. Brother Earl is kind of hitting me up. Hold on. Okay, so I have to resend the link to our brother. Hold on 1 second, family. Sounds interesting. Thank you, Andrea Jones, 817. Yes, I like to think they're pretty interesting. The last workshop was really powerful. The last one was dealing with, what did we talk about? How to prioritize tasks in our organization. You know, a lot of people, we don't lose, family, because we're unintelligent. We don't lose because we don't have talent or motivation. We typically falter outside of white supremacy trying to sabotage our movements. We typically falter internally for lack of organization. Stuff is not organized. We doing stuff that's not important, giving it a lot of attention, and the stuff that's highly important gets little of our resources and attention, right? So that's what we did last month. This month, we're talking about how to generate relevant community input. Stop going forward without asking the community what its interests are, what its needs are, what its barriers are to coming to our meetings, to getting more involved. Once you get the community's input, they're invested and they're more likely to be part of our organizations and to fight alongside us. But we can't go any farther than our people, fam. I don't care how bright and brilliant we are, family, how much we know. You can't go any farther than the people willing to go. So that's what we're talking about on February 26th, and I hope you all will check it out. Now, that said, family, please bear with me. I'm going to run this ad promotion for Harlem Liberation School for those who missed it. And peace, black power, and welcome to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. Harlem Liberation School is a black nationalist, Pan-African community organization based in Harlem. We provide relevant and credible political education to help black people wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. To do this, we provide panel discussions, political commentary, mini documentaries, leadership tips, classes, and interviews with some of our most dedicated and effective leaders, activists, and intellectuals around the world. All right, family. That said, we are waiting. Our brother should be arriving soon. I had to resend him the link. Hopefully he has gotten the link and we can get started. In the meantime, for those who are here, Harlem Liberation School is a black political education center. We started, myself and my queen, in 2016. And it comes from, again, me observing a void. I was on all these panel discussions. For some reason in 2015, a lot of people were calling me to be on their panels. And I was noticing, wow, these people are leaders in the community and they're on the panel saying things that are not true, not confused about what nationalism is, not clear on what Pan-Africanism is. And I said to myself, ooh, this is not good. This is not good. And I was really upset about it. And, you know, I'm a type of person, when something upsets me and gets under my skin like that, it's a sign to me that I need to do something about it. Right? Now, of course, part of this is because I've been a bibliophile since I was a little boy. I've been studying Africana studies all my life. And then, you know, of course, went to Syracuse, studied it more, along with sociology. Then went to Cornell and studied, you know, got a master's in Africana Studies and Research Center. So this is important to me, right? But that let me know we had to start an organization to teach our people properly who we are, where we come from, but not just that, about our different social political movements, but not just that, about our important political figures, and not just that, the different ideologies that we talk about: socialism, Pan-Africanism, nationalism, feminism, Africana womanism, so that our people have a strong foundation upon which to stand, and that when we go out here and say we're fighting for something, we know what we're fighting for and how we're fighting. Now, with that said, that's a perfect kind of segue for our guest, brother Earl. You know, we're joined by today to me, he's a Harlem legend, spoken word poet, and a former hip hop MC, whose formal name is Earl Majette. But those of us who know know that this brother's real name, at least in the streets, family, lyrically is Brother Earl. And in this conversation, we're going to be exploring the political power of poetry. Both spoken word, literary poetry that you read, and of course, hip hop, because hip hop is poetry over music. And the kind of the responsibility of Black artists in moments of social crisis like the one we're in right as I speak. This is not just about art, it's about liberation, and it's about cultural direction and purpose, right? So with that said, and I should also say, well, I'll bring the brother on first.
Yeah.
Brother Earl, let me take this out. Take this thing out of here. Hold on.
Okay.
Brother Earl, how you be, good brother?
Oh man, fair four square.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Looking
Good to be
sharp and clean
here.
as always.
Hey,
Your Harlem style.
look, you know what they say, man. Rather to be seen than viewed. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Thank you for joining us, good brother. I want to just can you tell people just very quickly before we begin our interesting sort of connection? That's kind of weird, kind of interesting. I would have never guessed it. Could you share that with people?
Sure. I would say we formally met about 25 years ago through poetry at the Sugar Shack, but we had no idea that we had really met as teenagers like 20 years prior. Like 20 years prior, as MCs, because your crew had came up to the our DJ's house because we was doing like a tape together. We was going, rock out together. And you was in one crew and I was in another where we met each other, but didn't necessarily remember how each one of us looked when we met 20 years later.
Word. Yeah. And you know what? I found it out from rest in power to this good brother from Harlem. He lived maybe 10 blocks from me in Harlem. Brother Jazzy Moto. Uh, um, he's the one that told me, and I almost fell out my chair. We were on the phone. He was working on a documentary. He said, you know Earl, right? I said, Brother Earl, yeah, I know Brother Earl. I said, no, you know Brother Earl before the Sugar Shack days when y'all was spitting poetry. I said, nah, I remember him from the Sugar Shack. He said, brother, you met him when you was 14, 13, 14. I said, no, sir, I did. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, remember I took you to the Bronx? And we was kind of it was the F Troop crew, and
Right.
there's a crew of brothers in the Bronx. We was all spitting. I was like, yeah, I remember that. Said one of them brothers was Brother Earl. I said, no way, that's crazy. So I've known this brother who a long time and didn't know that I knew him. That going back,
Fact.
but it's interesting that we have that poetry, that poetic connection and a political connection. Because we're also both Black men of consciousness. So that's interesting too. So I give much respect to Brother Earl. Those you don't know, Sugar Shack was around what, 90s, early 2000s.
Correct.
Brother Odell, he just had a birthday. Shout out to Brother Odell, Sister
Yes.
Francis,
Yes.
and the crew. And they
Good.
just, man, the food was good, the drinks was good, and the poetry was even better. Poetry
Yes.
was powerful. We got Brother Ngoma. Shout out to Brother Ngoma, Brother Tashaka Shange playing the drums, right? Powerful.
Shange. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Take us back to the beginning, Brother Earl. What was the name of that hip hop crew that you were in? What name did you go by at that time when we first met? And back then, did you see yourself as a poet, or like, because I know we was in hip hop, we saw ourselves as MCs, but did you see yourself as a poet as well?
Okay, well, if I'm gonna take it back to the beginning, then let me say, uh, the first hip hop crew I was with was called DBL, Down by Law. Eric was actually in that crew as well. Okay, and I had a few other stints in other crews. Matter of fact, I was even in a crew for a little while that had a young DJ by the name of Kid Capri. But that's a whole nother story.
Uh,
But as it relates to us, uh, Eric had brought me to that crew in the Bronx in 1982. And it was, we were the Awesome Four at that time. And we became the Too Much Brothers. I guess when we met around 1983. Yes, I did think my rhymes was poetry. I did consider myself a poet, um, of speaking. Now, the things that resonate with me is, you know, the laughter of my father, calling it hibbity hop, and stuff like that. But my name was, I had a few names, but my name most notably then was Amazing Earl D. And and that was the real deal. I just, I certainly believe my father saw it as artistic expression, and he must have supported it because he let me go to to those jams. So if he thought it was a waste of time or not a true expression of art, I think he would have stepped in a little more.
Wow. Now, brother Earl, what led you? Because we have similarities, I think, in this respect as well. It got to a point in the '90s where I saw that the hip hop I loved had turned a corner that I wasn't feeling. It had become dealing with nefarious activity, violence, and some other themes I just wasn't supporting. And then, of course, by this time, I had become a teacher in the public school system. And so I'm getting older, maturing, and I wanted to do something more political. Didn't seem like hip hop had a space for it anymore. And I
Mm,
saw a movie called Love Jones,
right.
and it blew my mind. I said, I could do that. Now that I can do. And I got into spoken word poetry. How did you transition from being more of a hip hop MC to more of a spoken word poet?
Okay. First off, let me say I'm a couple of years older than you, right? So, um, like when I guess when I started going to college, I wasn't as involved in hip hop as actively as I may have wanted to be, and especially, you graduate and you start doing grown ish. But if I was to give a sort of breakdown, I would say there are two events and a reoccurring activity that led me from MCing to spoken word. Um, like I said, again, as a young adult, I wasn't MCing per se, but I still loved the music, and but not, just not hitting stages. After you graduate college, you working. I'm playing ball, hanging out, chasing honeys. The regular young-ish. But I think what's important in this is that the art, unbeknownst to me, was trying to find a way out. And I think it found its first foray in finding its way out was leaving messages on your answering machine. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, those messages was like a production. The music and the words had to match. I remember writing short poems to kind of go with each particular song. I don't remember all the songs I used, but I do remember Faith. Soon as I get home, I know I had a poem that sort of, that went with, I said some words, and all of a sudden, soon as I come home, and then I also had one for Tupac, I Get Around. I think I broke up with my girl at that time, and I was feeling a little salty or whatever. And well, uh, I remember, all I remember is the last couple of lines. So leave a message and I'll get around to you.
Ah, that's funny, brother Earl. That's funny, man.
Okay. Now, the first major event for me, honestly, aside from that, the art trying to get its way out and finding a venue for it to come out. The first really major event for me was like an emotional breakup with a woman I was seeing.
Mm.
And in an effort to win her back, I did something I had no conception that I would do. I literally wrote her, I made a poetry book for her. Like I printed out my poems and interspersed pictures of us throughout the pages and went to Staples and had it done.
Wow.
And I knew that this was like a major event because at that time I really saw myself as a speaker, not necessarily as a writer. Um, but I knew this was like for me to go there at this moment with what I was feeling, I knew it was major. And this is around 1996. And so I start, saying poems here and there, private events. And I actually really considered starting a greeting card company. I
Mm.
thought I had some stuff. I was like, maybe I should start a greeting card company. Um, so that was the first major big blow. The second one that truly kicked down the door was 1999, and that's because my father died.
Mm.
And quite frankly, everything changed. I mean, the art started pouring itself out. Like it started not wanting to be contained. And I think the kicker was, like when your people move on, you become the keeper of their things. All right. And in
Mm.
looking in my father's ledgers, what did I see? Poems that he wrote,
Mm.
poems that he wrote. And like it's deeper than that because my father like placed such a high degree on language, art skills, communication. He truly believed that folks, less melanated people couldn't make negative assumptions about your intelligence if you spoke well. So
Mm.
speaking well was extremely important in my house. Being able to present compelling arguments about situations and circumstance was everything. I was in a debate club in my house. I just didn't know it.
Yes, sir. That's right. I can relate
Okay.
to that. Yeah.
Uh, and I guess on a humorous and more serious side, when my pops had about enough of the shenanigans, he would say, "Listen to the spoken word." That was my pop's way of saying, "I'm not gonna keep talking to you, dude. In a minute, this gonna go left. In a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah, man.
this
Yeah,
gonna
the,
go
the
left.
parents we was coming up was different.
Different. This gonna go left. Okay, I'm not
Oh
gonna."
yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think those things to me, finding his poems and the art pushing itself out, remembering his, what he used to say, it just told me these were signs. So I started writing more poems, and by 2000, I was working on my album 2000, 2001, and in that album, I actually included a poem that my father wrote,
It's hot.
and and actually had my son say it, my young son say it on the album, Poetry in Motion. So, and quite frankly, every album I've produced subsequent has had at least one poem that my father wrote.
That's hot.
So
Yeah.
these are the things that really pushed me into poetry. It wasn't like, um, obviously, like you, I had certainly understood and made note of the changes that was going on in hip hop. But because I was quote unquote a grown man, a young grown, a grown man, I was kind of going on in life. It's not that I didn't have all the latest CDs and this, that, and the third. Hell, in the late 80s, early 90s, I worked for Billboard magazine. I had I had CDs and albums months before you heard them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So like, I still love the culture. Um, but it's just that I was kind of living life, and then some things happened in life, and those are the things that said maybe it's time for you uh to see go through this door. I mean, I was a banker, okay? Like I don't know if you remember this, but some of those early days at the Sugar Shack, I pulled up in suits,
Oh
okay?
yeah, I remember that, brother.
Okay,
Oh
like
yeah.
I'd be coming because at the time I worked, I was a vice president of commercial lending at Norfolk Bank, which was up like near Riverdale, and I lived in Jersey. And I had enough sense to know if I went home, I probably wasn't gonna come back over that bridge. So what I would do is drive the car in front of the shack and sort of just chill out, lay up until it was time to, for the festivities to begin. And literally, I'd
Sure.
be in, I didn't have a change of clothes. I just had my suit and tie on, and you know, saying my words.
That's what's up, brother. Well, look,
Yeah.
we have a few comments. I did want to acknowledge some of the people who were gracious enough to join us. We have a sister Andrea Jones.
Hey,
She's
sister.
saying hello to everybody. I believe, but she's saying black first. Salute to us.
Mm,
We also have a Tracy Clark who is glad to be here. She's saying good afternoon. Wonderful to be on your chat and see and hear your presence. Such a thoughtful, interesting title. Can't help but grab literate black liberation lovers. You got it. That's right. She goes on to talk about I think she's talking about the Spinners. The love song by the Spinners was done by a set of brothers from PA, and they're now professors. Look at that, teachers.
mm, mm,
Literacy can't hurt anyone. You got that right. Um, she likes the fact that you and I talk about this all the time with my dad. Learn from home. I tell people all the time. I just did a Black History Month speech and told people I didn't get it in school on the block from a professor. I got that years later, but I got my Africana studies at home from my father. That's what our little 20-book home library. That's where it started. So yes, sister, I agree with Tracy Clark. How fortunate you were to have a father who was so communicative. Absolutely. And with that said, peace and power to my dad, and peace and power to
mm.
Brother Earl, your father as well. Rest in power to them. All right, now let's get back to the nitty gritty. Hold on one second. So Brother Earl, when you think about the landscape culturally, sonically, musically,
Mhm.
the political edge of the 80s, how would you characterize those 1980s of hip hop?
Um, the 80s, 90s, hip hop stands out to me. Um, because the art and the artists were so diverse. I mean, think Grandmaster Caz, Melly Mel, and Cool Mo D. They all nice as fuck. Excuse my
Yes,
French.
sir.
They're all
Yeah,
nice
yes,
as
sir.
hell, but they all different.
Yep,
Okay, they were the vanguard of who was the top MCs of that era, but they did not sound the same.
that's right.
And I thought, when I think back, I mean, I like to believe uh, I recognized it then, but when I think back now, that to me really resonates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, um, there was like there was no pre-approved stamped way of artistic expression. Think when you get in more into hip hop, think De La Soul, the Public Enemy. I mean, they're both under the banner of hip hop, but completely different. Both
Completely.
both positive, but positive in different ways.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
like that's what I love about uh 80s, 90s hip hop is that there just didn't seem to be a whole bunch of carbon copies, that people really manifested the art in a way that they thought it should be manifested. Now, that doesn't mean we weren't influenced by, other artists. Look, that you can't say, who can say they not influenced, okay? But imitation and influence to me are two different words, respectfully.
Agreed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, to me, uh, like today, as in 2026, I think like spoken word is like the spoken word, it gets elevated, legitimized. Um, like it's almost has to be completely far left. If you don't support their talking points, it's kind of hard for you to really get a major platform. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I wish to disparage no one that may be listening to this or hear about it, but you're not going to make me say trans women are women. I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect your right to live your life, but
Yes,
you're not
sir.
going to. But you're not going to make me bend the knee to your delusion. I'm not
That's
doing
right.
that.
Yeah. And we have the right to
Right,
have an opinion on it. Yes,
right.
sir. No doubt.
But I think these days, if you don't support certain things, it's really hard for you to get a platform. in my
Yeah, you're
opinion.
kind of ghosted, canceled. Dave Chappelle hits on that all the time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's real talk. Now,
Um,
mhm.
and I think one of the things that I don't like, I guess, is that too many of the spoken artists, word artists today sound alike. And like the reason like they sound alike is that they kind of all get a certain training. They go to the same sort of breakout sessions. It's like I call it the poetry Borg, like for my Star Trek fans. I call it the poetry Borg. It's like the hive mind almost. You know, I don't hear that individualism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess to put it in our context, okay? Me, Kasim, and Brother Ayaba, I'd like to believe are all nice, but we don't sound the same.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a
We don't
fact.
sound the
Or
same.
Ngoma. Yeah,
Or
that's a fact.
we don't
Yeah.
sound the same.
Hmm.
And I think that's unfortunate, okay? What you have to say and how you say it should really be a true manifestation of your spirit, your soul, your experience, your feelings. Okay. And that means how you're going to say, the bar of Ice Cube, the F the police, the way you say it may be different from the way I say it. Or,
Right.
or, or, um, one love, or whatever, how you're going to manifest that in your art is going to be different from mine. And it should be.
Yeah, that
To know,
authenticity is important
yes,
because
yes,
we're artists. After all, we're creatives. At least that part of us, that's our creative part. It should be creatives. It should be authentic.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I still dig underground poetry. Okay, I still dig true underground poetry where there are no rules, so to speak. It is truly a manifestation of your art. Okay, so a young man that was highly influenced by maybe 2000 hip hop, the way he says a poem is going to be different from me. Okay, because I actually said rhymes in the late 70s, early
Right.
it's
That's
gonna
right.
be different.
It's a hip
Okay.
hop MC. Yeah, man.
I'm my genesis is a hip hop MC. My running joke is I said yes, yes, y'all. All
That's
right.
right.
Okay.
That's that's
You,
right.
that's my conversation, man. I said yes, yes, y'all. Okay. And I am still grateful that some of those rhymes I still remember, man. Like a few of them are still there 40 plus years later, man.
Now, brother, you just gave the perfect segue. To could you give us a taste of, man? I missed the Sugar Shack. We were just, me and the Queen were just driving past the Sugar Shack. I said, oh man, I missed that place so much. Could you give us a taste of some of that authentic Harlem Brother Earl flow that you used to give us at the Sugar Shack? Maybe give us a poem before we continue, if you don't mind.
Okay, okay, okay. 1% of the population own over 90% of its wealth, while 50% of black men are unemployed, praying to higher self. Yet you wonder why I'm angry. Just plain sick and tired of being the last hired on and or the first fired upon, unless it's the army or the line for vaccines where the side effects an autopsy might decipher. Can't forget the lifers. From construction to computer technology, only one place to find a job, the state-sponsored, privately owned prison factory, strangely related to sweatshops and diamond mines in countries that reject our ideology. Nowadays, between jihads, bipartisan retards, and good old-fashioned occupation, it's easy to lose faith in God, but damn hard to distinguish gentrification from globalization. In the not too distant present, Christianity was a gift, like smallpox blankets and needle exchanges shared, like judgment at a lynching by military, I mean missionary boats. And the difference between savage and man was found in the fine print of hypocritical Bible quotes. Now they just shove democracy down the world's throat. Call it the Heimlich maneuver. But at least Hitler wasn't nodding like a dope fiend when seen publicly speaking. But by then, Classism is marginalized at the Minority Report, while in Congress and court, human rights are left in the dust of photo ops and sound bites of policies spinning sharecropping in a new light. If hindsight is the mother of revisionist history, I'd piss on Reagan's grave and call it the trickle down theory. Forgive me. Sometimes humor has to be hostile, but as humanity's apostle, I toggle between what's fair and what's possible. When the Pope is a pimp, arranging the marriage of church and state to convince you of an afterlife worthy of wait, while half the world is starving and the other half is trying to lose weight.
Mm.
Wait. It seems democracy and capitalism will never sleep in the same bed as long as lies are fed, like why internment camps are built in the US by FEMA and blood is shed in prefabricated walls for WMDs no one can finger to perpetuate some fantasy like American life honeymoon when from womb to tomb 1% of the world, 1% of the population owns 90% of its wealth, while 50% of Black men are unemployed, praying to higher self. Yet politricksters argue over national health. Care to explain why only penguins and polar bears are mourning? Global warming is the fire drill for hell, but oil's well that ends well, and dead men tell no tales. So if you open your mouth, best believe your phone getting tapped, finances froze, then pimp slapped with the label of being un-American. And all I can say in response is, you have to first be considered something before you are not it anymore.
All right. That's that heat right there. Now, depending if you in the shack, we're gonna be like, oh, that's a heat. If you're in Brooklyn Moon back in the day, you're gonna be doing this. Yes, sir. That's that heat right there. Now, it's interesting because Brother Earl, those of y'all watching, he covered a lot. Covered a lot of terrain with that. And one of the things that I find about the spoken word poetry, Brother Earl, unlike, and this is not disrespecting Paul Laurence Dunbar,
Right.
and Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes. I'm never going to be foolish enough to disrespect the foundation. But there was something about that spoken word poetry that was performative and dynamic and kind of had an ability to convey complex political ideas, man, in a way that was entertaining and just kind of pulled people in. So I'm wondering, and that's a perfect segue to, I guess, our poetic mothers and fathers directly might be the Gil Scott Herons, the last poets, some of the brothers and sisters of the Black Arts Movement. As you see it, what role has poetry played in the Black Liberation Movement? You can take it from any historical era, Brother Earl. I'm going to give you that latitude, all right? But what role has our poetry played in the Black Liberation Movement, and why do you believe that it's still important today that poetry play a role in our liberation movement?
Well, if you give me the latitude to start from, to use any era, I guess I'm going to go from the Harlem Renaissance to the beat poets that eventually inspired Amiri Baraka, who eventually became the Black nationalists, which became the Black Arts Movement.
That's right.
They all share their excellence inspired art more with fellow adults than necessarily the youth. Okay. Like, I think eventually youth in the future started looking back to them, but in real time, I don't think they inspired the youth. They were dynamic. Don't get it twisted. But most of their stuff was they did theater, they did, plays and stuff like that. So the people going to see them were generally adults that was kind of motivated or, to that sort of stuff. Okay. which was good in the sense that it galvanized the young adult population, but didn't, in my opinion, didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily trickle down to the youth. I think the beginnings of it starting to affect the youth was like when the last poets sort of started doing their thing, because remember they put their initial performances in 1968 in Marcus Garvey Park. Okay, literally poetry is going to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in my opinion, poetry wasn't in the streets
Right.
till then.
That's right.
Okay. And I feel like there's certain younger people that were inspired because of that. The most notable example that I can speak to is Gil Scott Heron. Gil Scott Heron was inspired by the last poets because one of the things, he had met them while they were featuring at Lincoln University and he was going there. You
Mm.
know, he essentially said, yo, I like what you guys are doing and I'm going to do this myself.
Yeah.
And he messed around and did it his damn self.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think that black liberation, part of the civil rights, and remember, what do you think of? You think of Malcolm X, his fiery speeches and stuff like that. That became where we began to see that in the public square. And seeing those things in the public square made it more of a conversation piece amongst us, and it also inspired some of the youth behind them, which eventually became us. Okay, because maybe your mother or your father had a Last Poets album in the house,
Mm-hmm.
a Watts Prophet album in the house. Okay, heck,
Yep.
if you had certain kind of adults, you might even had a Dolomite album in the house, but it was
Oh,
still rhyming,
you taking it back. Yeah.
still rhyming.
Yeah. Dolomite. Yeah.
So, I think that is the difference. All of these eras were excellent in art and deserve their place. But to me, it's that Black liberation movement that I believe that began to galvanize youth in real time, and that was the difference, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. Definitely well said. Do you see any problem with the screen?
No, what? Something wrong?
It, from my end, it looks weird. Hold on.
Let's see.
Hmm. Okay.
Can you?
But you don't see a problem, right?
Not that I can tell.
Okay, hold on. Do you see both of us up there?
Right now, I do.
Okay. That's a little weird what just happened there. That's weird. All right. Well, anyway, um, let me ask you this. Do you think, because artists are funny, creatives are very much on the I do what hits me, I
Mhm.
do what I feel. I don't want to be conscribed by anybody else or locked in. That's why you have people that make an album like even a singer, a fantastic album. We latch on to that style. Then they go say, "I want to do some punk rock." Whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. We was feeling you when you was neo soul. So creators would do that. Do you think that artists? And I know Nina Simone famously said that artists are supposed to talk about the times going on, reflecting the times, and kind of mirroring some of the political aspects and giving voice to that. Do you think that artists, let's say poets in this case, have a duty or responsibility, particularly during times like now that are kind of oppressive and moving towards a fascist, authoritarian sort of politics, that they're supposed to take a stand? Or do you think that art should be allowed to kind of, remain neutral and do you, so to speak?
Well, first, let me say, uh, I don't even agree that it's moving fascist now. I feel like we're being programmed to dislike something more. Because, respectfully, we were told to get a jab or you couldn't do nothing. That Trump wasn't in when that happened. He said, get it. They said, get a jab or you literally can't come outside. You
Mm,
can't go to work.
Mm.
That sounds kind of authoritative, fascist to me.
Yes,
So
sir.
I feel like sometimes we be programmed to push back on certain things or certain people. And so I respectfully push back on there. But like Nina Simone, I do believe art is not only a reflection of what life is, but also a mirror as to what life can or should be. So uh, I think that gives enough room for you to do you and still opine on some of the things that you see, feel, experience.
Well
Okay,
said, brother. Yeah.
there's enough room there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I like what you said. So what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, is that we have a way, and we could be black people, it could be the American so-called citizenry at large, have a way of being selective in
right,
our critique. So as if to say, this is the first white supremacist, fascist leaning, authoritarian president we've had.
right.
No. I mean, he has certainly, one could make the argument that his policies have been a lot more in your face, a lot less sophisticated and very raw than many others. But yeah.
And guess what? Look. This we might be going on a tangent, but guess what? I'm okay with that. And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, man, uh, the civil rights legislation, what's the other one? Not affirmative action, DEI. None of them have served black men. Respectfully, none
Mm-hmm.
of them have served black men. The people that get the most out of those policies are white women. Respectfully, okay.
Yeah,
The,
that's right.
I would argue that we have another kind of chance under this administration because he's saying we're all Americans. Okay. I've already tried the other three, they didn't work for me. So now I'm willing to try being American because guess what? I'm falling back to what the last poets mantra was. They were saying, we're the last poets. We're the last people that's going to speak to you. Okay. After that, okay, it's grab your bayonet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying to me, hey, under this banner that we are all American and that I'm entitled to everything by virtue of that, that's why you're telling the immigrants to leave and this, that, and the third. All of this is for us. I'm willing to give it a honest go round because the other three ain't worked for me. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't get me anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
now, and under this, if we still can't get anywhere, then it's get the ratchet. There's nothing else to be said. There's no other con you can play on me. So
Right.
I, I feel we should buy into this and take it all the way. So we can honestly say, you know what, it is working, or you know what, man, this is some bullshit, BS as well, man. Grab the ratchet.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm not I don't feel particularly or any more endangered today than I did at any other time in my life. Okay. Look, the 1994 crime bill was put together by Democrats. All right. They the ones really sent
That's
us.
yeah, that's Bill Clinton in them.
That's Bill Clinton in them. So I mean, they are the ones that started the KKK. They are the ones that voted against the initial civil rights legislation. I mean, like, who are we fooling? Okay, like, so I'm not easily swayed by those things, man. I feel like there's going to always be some issues in this matrix. And as an artist, your duty is to not only talk about how life is, but also how life can or should be by your observation. That's why it's so important for artists to live. You just can't be in no bell tower writing. You got to live. One of the things that Langston Hughes did is that he walked. He walked in the community. He heard what people were talking about, what people were saying. He felt the energy of the community. So when he wrote a poem, it reflected what the people were feeling. So you got to be outside. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
can't be in no ivory tower. Okay, pinning your latest classic. You got to be. you got to be in these streets.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, sir. Now, do you think liberation? I don't want to ask this. Do you think, as poets who have consciousness, who have political consciousness, and who seek social justice, liberation, however you want to frame that, do you think that there should be a balance between when they're writing, between artistic excellence and political clarity, or do you think that they should focus more on artistic excellence or political clarity? If you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. What I think is the message is elevated through artistic excellence. Okay. The message is elevated through artistic excellence. So you have to place a premium on the artistic excellence only because that's what gets inside of the spirit of the people. Like this, like for instance, there's a reason why when you're a child, you're taught in rhyme in nursery school, in kindergarten, in first grade. There's a reason because it has a better chance of downloading when taught in rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can have the most important message in the world, but if you haven't figured out a way for it to be easily downloaded and emotionally connected to the people you're speaking to, you fail, brother. Now, as a matter of fact, I even bring it even together even further. You do realize that historically, um, Langston Hughes used to have Ozzy and Ruby Davis read his poetry. So they added that artistic flair to the brilliance of his writing.
Mm-hmm.
So it elevated even more. Like the funny truth is, Langston Hughes wasn't a great orator. Okay, he wasn't a great orator, but them words in Ozzy Davis' mouth and Ruby
Yeah.
Dee's mouth, everything changed. So
Yes, indeed.
I so obviously the message is important, but what makes the message download and get across to people is the artistic excellence. Think about when you heard "Fight the Power" from Public Enemy, man. Think about how, like, when you seen them S1Ws dancing and him when them speaking. Think how energized you was.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like
Absolutely.
man. All right, 1989.
Matter of fact, when that came out, we were taking over Syracuse University, turned it inside out upside down for our African American Studies department. That's the song we playing. We played. We were all black. 500 of us going to the campus. We played "Fight the Power."
Fight the power.
That was the
Okay.
anthem, man. Yeah,
And so you give a live example to what I'm saying. That artistic expression downloaded into your spirit and like help push y'all to do what y'all were doing.
that's right.
That's the difference.
That's real
That's why
talk.
I say what I say, respectfully. Okay, respectfully.
Yeah, that's real talk. I have so many references I can make. I remember we go through the neighborhoods with our clipboards. Uh, most of the people here I think are in our relative age group, so they know what I'm saying. But people who may watch the recorded version who are younger, this may go over their head. But there was a time when you actually had to make flyers on paper and pass the bad boys out, knock on doors, get people's phone numbers and call them. And we might we might take a Sharpie and say, meet in the Shine Student Center, 12:30 noon, we're all black, and make 1,000 copies and go around and pass them out and get people out. But the music was such an important part of that. We might go with a big speaker and be blasting a tape. We might have a little bit of a popular song, then have a Farrakhan quote. A little bit
Right,
of a popular song, then have a Mary Baraka quote, and that would get people out. So yeah,
right,
brother, what you're saying is real. And it was a living, breathing music. It wasn't dead and stale. We
right.
used it. We actually used it for the things it was saying. It was propagating. Fighting
Exactly.
the power. Yeah.
No problem. All
That's what's
right.
up.
Okay. Most of my heroes don't appear on no stamp. Oh, what?
Yes, sir.
Yo, listen. Shout out Chuck D, Public Enemy, man. Whoa.
Yeah, man. And the X Clan came with the Afrocentricity on it. I mean, it was just so
I
much. It was
listen to
what you said.
I listen to Brother J right now, man.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I listen to Brother J. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hit you with a bob stick. So you made a
Yeah.
lick. Shout
Yeah, man. And the thing
out
about it
Brother
too is
J.
these guys were also activists. So for them, it wasn't just
Right.
the music or the poetry. They were actually in those streets. That was it. The Black Watch movement
Black
for X
Watch. Yeah.
Clan. I saw Sister Soldier and Chuck D were touring together, and I saw them at Slave Theater a couple of times in Brooklyn back in the day.
Mhm.
So these were people that were actually involved. So that's another important thing.
Right.
Very important thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, Brother Earl, we're coming to our hour. I want to know. I want to hit you with a few rapid fire questions,
Okay.
real quick joints,
All
right?
right.
Just to get to give it a little flavor. Chop them up, make some shorts, and get you out there on my TikTok and some other things.
Okay.
What's wrong, if you would, with mainstream hip hop today? What would you fix first, if you think it's wrong? Anything's wrong with it?
What's wrong with mainstream hip hop is that the A&Rs and the machine controls the expression. There's certain types of songs, poems they can't make. They're told they can't make.
Mm.
So and until artists have complete control over their expression, we got a problem.
If a 19-year-old black man asked you, Brother Earl, why should I give a damn about poetry? What would you tell him?
I would say poetry saves lives. I would quote Nikki Giovanni. I write so I don't have to kill no effing body.
Mm, that's real talk. That's real talk, brother. Poetry has probably kept a lot of brothers and sisters out of jail.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Therapy. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Um,
What
a, a, a man or woman who doesn't study their history but wants liberation is what?
a fool.
There it is. There it is, brother. Yes, sir. You have no benchmark, no compass. Yeah,
Right.
that's real. Now, Brother Earl, you have a lot going on. You're involved with a lot of things. And so one of the things I want to do very quickly is put this up where they can follow you, because I noticed on your Facebook page, you have a lot of all the things you're doing in one place. Could you tell us about some of the things you're doing, some of your projects you got going on?
Well, on the poetry side, I do a monthly show called Tease Me Tuesday at Comedy in Harlem. That's
Mm-hmm.
based 758 St. Nicholas Avenue on 47th Street. That takes place every last Tuesday of the month. Okay. The next one is not tomorrow, but the 24th. So, and we have a 2-for-1 special going on. Buy one ticket, get one ticket free. So if you're in the New York, Harlem, New York metro area, and you want some poetry and comedy that will not only move you, but edutain you, I think you should pop out. Um, I also, in conjunction with that we also have a compilation album out that's on Bandcamp. I think I'll send you the link so maybe you can post that up for folks. So if you want to hear some of my poetry to music, and along with some of my partners, you can listen to that. I think it's kind of cool. It's only $10. Please support independent art.
For sure.
One of the other things, classic thing, IG, the real brother Earl, that's the real brother Earl, the same way your mama taught you how to spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're so inclined, my cash app, real brother Earl, same different.
I'm gonna put that up.
Um,
That's the
um,
$ real brother Earl, right?
That's real, brother Earl. And I also, I kind of went back to my finance roots. I have a partnership with a company that specializes in real estate and business lending because, when we get gerrymandered and evicted from communities, it's because we don't have any real estate. We don't own our community. And
Hmm.
I think it's imperative that we own our community or own a community, whether that's forming RIPs. To those that may not know, real estate investment trust, you and some of your people get together to purchase something. Okay. I believe that we can't truly get right until we start controlling some land, some property. All
Hmm.
right. So my company is Jam Funding Solutions. Okay, and the tag is the revolution will be monetized. So um, by all means, follow me on IG, and you will certainly see information on it. I also on Facebook I have a Jam Funding Solutions page, so you can certainly go there and get information. So uh, for me, it's finance and fine arts for me, man.
I hear that, brother Earl. So what I'm gonna do? I've been putting on some stuff while we've been talking. I got your Facebook there. I put up your Cash App here.
Okay,
Certainly want people to support our good brother. One of the things I push back in our community hard, man. We want 24/7 workers for us. We want people that's gonna work for us all day, every day, but they don't want to buy the CD. They
right,
don't go to the shows. They don't buy the books. You got to the
right.
workshops. I'm doing these monthly workshops, and so we have to. If we're serious, then we have to support. And of course, there's other ways to support that aren't always monetary. But my thing is, if I can't support monetary, I'm promoting people's stuff. I'm saying, yo, I can't go right now, but boom, check this
Oh,
out. So we have
check
to.
this
Yeah,
out.
we got to be serious about that. Definitely.
Exactly, man. So I'm look, I love the art. It was given to me. It was bequeathed to me. I believe initially from my father. Like you, my house was a library. My mother at the time worked for CBS Publications, so we had a real library in the house. I remember being a child. If I didn't know a word, I had to go to the back to get the encyclopedia. I had to look up the definition. I had to learn it. This was what my house was. Even when I was on the precipice of getting in trouble, if there was a logical counter argument as to what happened and why, I would save myself a tanning. Okay, like a logical, intelligent, uh, 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 pushback or counter argument. My father would be like, okay, you know what? Well, the next time do A, B, and C instead of A, D, and F. Okay,
Right. Right.
okay, but guess what? That means you're not getting the scrap.
That's
Okay,
right. Save yourself. Now,
I have
brother,
said,
this sister Tracy is saying the address again. I don't know if she's talking about the address to the poetry spot. Did you give your email address?
um, I didn't give an email address. I gave
So
I gave the IG and I gave Facebook. I said on Facebook it's JAM Funding Solution. Okay. On IG it's the real brother Earl. Okay, so by all means, we can start our communication there. And I did give the address for the poetry and comedy event, which is at Comedy in Harlem, and that address is 750A St. Nicholas Avenue, which is the cross street is 147th Street,
oh,
and
that's
that
right around the way.
yes,
Well,
that's right, brother. It's right.
that's where Johnny used to remember Johnny. We did something for a little while. Johnny on the spot with his brother. It was
Yeah,
7:30, I think.
it's across the street from there. Literally,
Okay, okay.
literally, it's
That's
across the
what's up.
street.
All right.
Yeah.
So Also, family, whatever did not flash on the screen, I'm going to put in the description section. I have some stuff there already, but if you go to the description section, I'm going to make sure that I have those links in there. So definitely check back, family, because I'm very active with that description section. I put announcements, all types of stuff in there. Address to the poetry spot. Okay, Tracy Clark, that's what you wanted. 147th. What was that? What was the exact?
It's 750A St. Nicholas Avenue, which is 147th Street. The name of the spot is called Comedy in Harlem. It is one of the few Black-owned comedy spots in the U.S., certainly in New York. So it deserves support in it and of itself.
The last Thursday of the month, or is that the last
Last
Tuesday?
Tuesday of the month.
It's the
Last Tuesday.
last Tuesday, Tracy, of the month. 750 St. Nick, 147th in St. Nick.
Yep.
758, I believe, to be exact. And I think it's 750, not 758. Is that right, Earl?
750, 750.
750, Tracy, not 758. And it is on West 147th in St. Nick. This is across from where the train station is. No, because there's a train station over there, too.
It's train station over there, too.
Right. That's right.
Okay, it's on the
she got, okay, Estelle Holloway chimed in. Thank you, Estelle. Is on it. That's right. 758 St. Nicholas Avenue, West 147th. That's right around the way.
Yes.
That's right around the way. I could walk over there. Yeah. I gotta get over there, brother. Or I just have so many projects I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to get stuff done because
Look, man,
you know,
being grown is real, man. Being grown,
man. That's right. So listen, brother Earl, man, we thank you for all you've done, for all you do, and life ain't over for all that you will do.
Right? That's a whole fact, man. Look, I woke up this morning, God ain't stopped the bank, man. I'm still rolling.
That's
I'm
right.
Still rolling.
That's right.
And I got some itch to do.
And it's good to see, yes, Tracy, last Tuesday. That's right. Last Tuesday of the month. And it's good to see two brothers from Harlem still doing their thing, man. I was like 13. I was like in 7th or 8th grade.
Crazy.
That's crazy when we first met. That's crazy, man. But love you, my brother. You keep up what you're doing, man. You representing the brothers strong, and we need the brothers. Everyone needs the sisters too, but the brothers, man. Many of us, the younger ones, are lost. They need older brothers who are cool, ain't corny, funny, ain't stiff, smart, not unintelligent, and politically conscious that they can relate to. And so I think you definitely represent that, brother. Keep on keeping on, brother. We got to have you back. And I'm going to make a commitment. If I can next Tuesday or maybe the next month, I'm going to get to that Teasby Tuesdays. Sounds like that might be a little bit of erotic poetry. Am I right?
Yeah, there's some erotic poetry in there, but there's some conscious. I give it all, man. I'm gonna give you some conscious, okay, and I'm gonna give you some grown folk. Because guess what? We want to make family. We want to make strong Black families too. Okay,
that's right.
We have to make strong Black families. Okay,
that's right. Yes, sir.
All right, we want to get to some nation building for real.
That's right. That's right. So listen, family, we want to thank Brother Earl for being on. He's not a guest; he's family. If he came over the house, I'd be like, I ain't getting you no juice. You go ahead and get that juice. You know how you do it together. You go and get that juice. But thank you, good brother. And we got to have you back. If you have any, as a matter of fact, if you have any things coming up, man, and you let me know in advance, we can have you on to promote what you're doing. So we can definitely do that. That's no problem.
Fair enough, man. All to the good.
Yeah, and family, thank you all for tuning in. This is an independent media platform. We are Pan-African nationalists in orientation. We believe in Garvey and X and Asada and Deruba bin Wahad, one of my barbers that's still walking the earth, 80 years old. That's who we roll with. We believe in ourselves and our people. Even when we muck up, even when we act ugly and incorrigible and backwards, we know that that's because we've been put through a process. But we can be redeemed. A lot of us were doing wrong and got right, just like Brother Malcolm. So we believe in our people, no matter what we going through, no matter who's not doing what they're supposed to do. We see God in our people. We see the divinity in us, and we work for us on our behalf. We believe that we will win, and in some respects, we believe we are winning. if you
Right.
look hard enough, you'll see it. And with that said, family, we say peace and Black power. See you next time. Peace.
Peace, man. Peace.